Hi everyone, it's Dr. Cat, writing under oath. As you know, we've been talking about how to write a book. And we've talked about this book called Clanging, a Euro-American Family. It is about an entire family from their lives to the point where I was born to their deaths. Everyone in my family, except for me, died when I was young, and they died violently. So I wrote a book about it. And it starts with Robert, who was my father. I want to read the first paragraph to you so we can talk about introductory paragraphs, how to write one of those. It should be incredibly catchy. It needs to be a hook so that the reader who picks up a book for the first time and may turn a few pages or turn to the first page and read to see if that is a book he or she wants to buy and continue reading. So it has to grab the reader. So I'll read you my first paragraph, and then I'll explain why I chose this. And I'm also going to read the introductory paragraph about my mother. This was obviously before his death. Each character in the family has a chapter written about them before death and after death. So this is the one called Robert, my father. Here's the first paragraph. Robert, a boy, under the dining room table on hands and knees, crisp white tablecloth flung over the edge, not quite a fort. The cloth trailed the back of a full-grown German shepherd as he burst forward toward Bob and back, who laughed and played the game, not quite a taunt. The dog's posture suddenly changed when Bob locked eyes, blue with brown. Weight thrust, ears erect and tilted forward, the dog disappeared as his tail, stiff and raised, swept under the white cloth. Bob's parents and guests heard a snap and a screech. Lita Smith, high heels clunking the wooden floor, flipped back the cloth and grabbed her son out and up, one smooth move, into her aproned bosom. Blood streamed not from the inside, but from the outside of Bob's nose. The tip of his nose was gone for good. And then the second paragraph is Flat Nose Bob. So why did I start with that first paragraph? Well, I'm sure you can guess. It's because something unusual happens. It's a taut, tense paragraph with a dog actually biting off the tip of a person's nose. And it was true. We did, as a joke, call him Flat Nose Bob because the tip of his nose was flat and you could see the capillaries there. It would be possibly stupid to start with anything else when I had this episode in his life, and he was quite young, a boy, when it started. And do you notice how I try to leave out as many articles as possible? The, and, but, words like that. Words like that are necessary sometimes, but a lot of times they're just filler. Filler for the sentences, for the ideas. Robert, a boy, under the dining room table on hands and knees, crisp white tablecloth flung over the edge, not quite a fort. Lita Smith, high heels clunking the wooden floor, flipped back the cloth and grabbed her son out and up, one smooth move into her aproned bosom. Blood streamed not from the inside, but from the outside of Bob's nose. The tip of his nose was gone for good. And then the next paragraph is just one line, flat nose Bob. So when you write a book, it's crucial that your first paragraph grab the reader, usually with something obscure or unusual. And this is definitely unusual. So if I'm going to catch the reader, I will catch that reader with this paragraph. And hopefully the reader will go on to read the rest of the book. For the same reason, I want to read you Eleanor's first paragraph. Eleanor was my mother. My voice is a little cracky and low because I've had pneumonia, and I'm still trying to clear it out of my body. Also, I wear glasses now instead of contacts, which you see in all my earlier videos. And the reason for the glasses is because I had shingles in both eyes, and shingles, I have a video about it, shingles ate the nerves in my eyes. So I'm using a stem cell medicine to try to regrow them. And pretty soon I'll be back in contacts, I hope. First paragraph in the chapter called Eleanor. Elegant, moody Eleanor May sat on the toilet when a bolt of lightning fired a straight shot through bathroom to master bedroom windows. Light engulfed her and stunned her off the seat as the charge lit through metal, framed windows, and twigged through plumbing from flesh to ground pipes. She was pummeled, not burned, and swore she saw the jagged stems of light. No one knew if this negative electrical charge to the head was the grounding wound that caused her mental illness. Now that's an opening paragraph, right? It's very unusual. How many people have you heard of that are sitting on the toilet and get hit by lightning? The way it happened was the bathroom window, if it was here, the bedroom window was here. So the lightning shot straight through the bedroom window in a straight shot, straight through the bathroom window in a straight shot through the bedroom window. It did not hit her head and cause her to burn or anything like that. It stripped by and she caught the elements of the light, the burning light as it went. And it hit the plumbing, so the plumbing also was shot by lightning. But notice what I tell you in this paragraph. Elegant, moody Eleanor May. The words sound great together, don't they? Elegant, Eleanor, sat on the toilet when a bolt of lightning fired a straight shot through bathroom to master bedroom windows. Notice how I don't say through the bathroom to the master bedroom windows. It's unnecessary. Anytime you can eliminate articles, do so, because often they are unnecessary. It doesn't change the meaning of the sentence to do so. Light engulfed her and stunned her off the seat as the charge lit through metal-framed windows and twigged through plumbing from flesh to ground pipes. So it hit her and then it went through the pipes in the bathroom. Notice how I don't say snaked through plumbing. I say twigged through plumbing. What are twigs? They grow from branches, right? So you have twigs growing out in different directions from branches. So I use it here to explain how the shot of lightning branched its way into plumbing. She was pummeled, not burned, and swore she saw the jagged stems of light. And here's the catcher at the end. No one knew if this negative electrical charge to the head was the grounding wound that caused her mental illness. I've told you a lot in this paragraph. Number one, it's catchy, it grabs you. You know that she was hit by lightning, and you know that she has a mental illness. We're not sure why, but perhaps it's because she was struck by lightning. We never knew. And then from there, I go on to talk a little bit about where we lived. In one paragraph, I have the who, what, when, and who, what, where, when, and why of the story about Eleanor. I'll read this one to you. It's the same in Robert's story. The second paragraph goes, Eleanor had phobias, thunderstorms among them, especially because in the Midwest, these storms often preceded tornadoes, and Illinois ranked first for the number of tornado deaths in the country. So far, none had hit the Toy Box suburban neighborhood on Worley Drive in Naperville, but that was about to change. The day she was shot in the head by a bolt of lightning was May Day 1957, Pentecost, when children held ribbons and danced around the maypole to celebrate spring fertility, an ancient Druid tradition later banned by Protestants. Eleanor dragged herself from the bathroom before dinner that day when her screams were heard by neighbors and her two boys. She didn't yell for help. She pleaded with God to get her out of Illinois. So in this paragraph, you know where she lives. You know what her phobias are. You know what just happened. And you know what's about to happen. The neighbors are going to come. She flopped down on the tightly made bed, and when her neighbors and sons attended, she begged for the spread to be folded down. What's that about? Well, first of all, she gets on her bed and it's tightly made. What does that tell you? If it's tightly made. This is a neat household. They make their beds. And when her neighbors and sons, I wasn't born yet, attended, she begged for the spread to be folded down. Why would she do that? Because she doesn't want to muss the spread. So she wants it to be folded down. So she's lying on the sheets, which is where most people lie when they're going to bed. I mustn't lie on the bedspread. Jeff was 10, insightful enough to bring a cold washcloth for her forehead. Tim was 4. He pulled on her arm and cried, I want my maypole candy. So now you know she's got 2 young boys. One of them is a bit smarter than the other, but the other is only 4 years old. So in this episode of How to Write a Book, I believe it's 5, you've learned about opening paragraphs. More later and more on this book. If you remember, the cover has to do with the structure of the book, which I structured like a roundabout. These are photographs of, obviously, the paint marks on roads. More about that later. Dr. Cat, writing under oath. Thanks for listening.